Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it. Hey guys, it's Adam here. Recently, I took a trip out to Seattle, Washington for PAX West, or formerly known as PAX Prime. While I was there, I went and I saw my buddy Kelsey Lewin, who is she runs Pink Gorilla, which is a chain of stores out in the Seattle area. Things have changed since the last time I was there. Like last time I was out there, they had 3 stores. Now they have 2, and one of them moved. This is the one I did a video on previously. Like in 2014, I did a video on this same store, except it wasn't in this location. It was like across the hallway. So they moved into this slightly bigger space, mostly because of the windows out there. So it helps, because that store is kind of hard to find unless you kind of already know where it is. So the windows really made it a lot easier for people to just kind of walk in off the street and find it. So Kelsey was cool enough to let me film a video in here, even though, because it was PAX West weekend, a lot of their best stuff had kind of been, rated for the convention, because at the actual convention, they have a booth where they sell a lot of items to, of course, people coming to PAX. So as a result, a lot of the stuff that's still here, it says it right there, pardon our mess, because they're preparing for PAX. So regardless, she was cool enough to let me film in there anyway, which I appreciated. And, as of course, if you guys ever get the chance, I've said this many times, Seattle is like the North American mecca for video games. Like it's insane how much cool stuff pops up out there, mostly because Microsoft and Nintendo of America are based there, and there's a lot of other game companies that have had major offices there, and a lot of employees that end up with rare and random items that live up there. It's bizarre, but as a result, there's just a lot of cool stuff. And of course, it's other than basically parts of Alaska and Hawaii, and I guess islands like Guam and stuff, it's really the closest part of the US to Japan, and as a result, a lot of imports get kind of funneled in there, which is pretty great. But yeah, anyway, you've seen a bunch of stuff so far, and you can continue to see like more NES stuff and Famicom stuff, Atari 2600 stuff, random controllers and plushies and all that. Little pink gorilla, pink gorillas and pink lizards, and an OG Xbox section. There was a video a while back, actually, it was of Pink Gorilla, actually randomly got a full set of OG Xbox North American titles had been sold to the store at one point. So that was pretty cool to see. Unfortunately, I had to be very selective to an extent with what I was buying, because I was very, very, very limited on my my storage space, because I did not bring a suitcase, which was unfortunately necessary. Let me just put it that way. But yeah, still, they had a bunch of cool stuff that was just awesome to see. A lot of stuff by limited run games, as well as other companies, and used PS3, PS4. That's the only store I've seen that actually had used limited run games titles in it. That was kind of impressive. Little import section down there for PS3 stuff. Nice to see that kind of variety. Game Boy, and all sorts of portable stuff. As you can see, all over the walls. They're always like clipped up with little zip ties and stuff, which is cool. More plushies, things for like Splatoon, and of course more handheld platforms and everything. And all sorts of figures. And there's actually, it's kind of funny that I keep mentioning limited run games, because look who it is. It's Douglas. He is actually the owner and operator of Limited Run Games. And he's a buddy of mine. And over here we had a Wii and Wii U section, and GameCube section, which is always nice to see. Wii U section, of course, always small. That's just how it is. Wii U sections are never big. Genesis over here, and some more plushies on the wall. You saw there for a second. And more of those pink gorilla or lizard plushies. Random accessories and controllers and things like that. Always good to see those around, and cables and things if you ever need those. A lot of the newer type of ones that are like reproduction, as well as some the originals and stuff, depending of course on whatever platform you're most interested in. And then there's a bunch of limited run game stuff down there, as well as like figures and stuff like Amiibo. Then of course there's Kelsey herself, who I'm sure a lot of you know if you obviously watch YouTube, because you're right here. And then I just realized there was like a shot of some of these other discs and games that I had missed, so I thought, what the hell, I should probably get that so you guys can see it. PSPs and PS Vita stuff, always good to see around. And again, more limited run game stuff. It was a lot of it. I swear Doug being in the store was just a massive coincidence. Now this shot, and from here on out, is actually just footage from the booth they had at PAX West. You guys saw a little bit of this potentially. If you watched my PAX West video, you would have seen the exterior of this, but this is the interior, all the stuff you would not have seen. They brought out a lot of their best stuff, their heavy hitters, their rare items, as well as stuff that you assume is probably going to sell more, higher demand stuff, and just a lot of cool stuff as well. So yeah, cool to see that out there. It's funny, I think I've only been into a Pink Gorilla when it was one time when it wasn't for PAX. So it's funny, I usually am used to seeing it kind of rated, which is weird, but it's still, you can tell they obviously have a bunch of cool stuff. I bought a lot of things from them over the few times I've been there over the years, so definitely cool. So yeah, I guess that's kind of it. That's kind of a quick look there, and let's move on, and I'll show you guys my pickups. So there you have an updated look at Pink Gorilla in the International District in Seattle. Once again, thank you to Kelsey for letting me film in there. Now I got a couple of pickups, not much, and honestly, I'm as weird as it sounds, I'm glad I didn't get more stuff, because if you saw my PAX West video, you'll see I got a whole bunch of stuff while I was out there, and all I went with was my backpack and my laptop case. And all the stuff you saw didn't include the stuff I brought with me, you know? So I barely was able to get it all back. It was comical how hard it actually was. But anyway, that said, I did get a couple of items while I was there, and I thought I'd show them to you. Now, the first thing up, Kelsey actually laughed because she couldn't believe I actually wanted this. This is a Dreamcast memory card. It's specifically one by Mega Memory Card by Performance. The reason I picked this up is I had no idea this thing existed. As you guys probably know if you've been watching me for a while, I'm a big fan of the Dreamcast. I love it. I have so much stuff for it, especially a lot of accessories and random items. And I had no idea this existed. Basically, it's just a memory card, but it's one of those 4X memory cards, so it's like 4 memory cards in one. And there's this little switch on the back, and you just use that to go from memory card to memory card to memory card, which is cool. On top of that, it actually had the little lid piece and everything. So yeah, I had never seen it before. So I was like, yep, that's coming up with me. That is going in the Dreamcast collection. So there you go. In the old days, I probably would have done an entire video on just this thing, but I don't really think that's necessary anymore. But anyway, I also got an Xbox 360 game, kind of for the same logic of like, I've never seen it before, so and it's cheap, so I'm just going to get it. It's a game called The First Templar. Never heard of it before. That's why I picked it up, because when you collect a bunch of stuff, you start to become familiar with the libraries of things. I'm relatively familiar with the Xbox 360 library. I had never seen or heard of this before. I have no idea if it's any good. Probably, honestly, it isn't. Some evidence of the quality of this game, or perhaps lack thereof, lies in the quotes on the cover and on the back. You know those quotes that are from reviewers that are meant to get you, like, excited about it? Like, you know, 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. You know, granted, that's an old reference. Rest in peace, Siskel and Ebert. But anyway, they have some quotes on here, and these, like, this is the first one. Let's go. The history buff in me is glad to see a game set during the Crusades and the Inquisition. That's from GamePro. That quote just says, basically, this game is set in a time period that interests me. Doesn't say anything about the game being good. He just likes the time period. That's the first one. Second one, the First Templar is already shaping up to be an interesting entry into the formerly non-existent 13th century action RPG genre. That's from Official Xbox Magazine. That quote is basically like, we haven't got access to this game, we've heard about what's coming up, that they're doing some sort of RPG set in the medieval era. That sounds cool. That's what that quote means. Those are the 2 on the cover. And then on the back, you have, the First Templar has our attention, Official Xbox Magazine. It has my attention too. It got my attention by it existing and surprising me. That doesn't mean it's any good. But that said, for a couple bucks, fuck it. Yeah, definitely wanted to pick that up. And then the one, like, special item was this. This is Night Trap, physical edition for the PS4. This is, of course, from Limited Run Games. Kelsey had one in stock, so she was willing to hook me up, so that was really nice for her to do. So Night Trap is, of course, an extremely infamous game in the history of video games. It was largely responsible for the creation of the ESRB rating system. And actually, it was funny, I was talking to Doug, and Doug's the guy who runs Limited Run Games, and he was telling me, like, you know, that the ESRB is actually starting to get on their ass now, and they're going to start making them put ESRB ratings on future games. And I was like, do you not see the comedic irony that Night Trap, once again, is one of the last games to not have an ESRB rating on it. I think that was just kind of appreciated as amusing. If you've never played Night Trap, it's an extremely strange game, but the fact that it got a PS4 remaster is kind of bananas. And if you're curious of gameplay, on my other channel on Game Society, we actually did a live stream of it. So you can check that out if you ever want to, just see what some of the gameplay was like. It's a strange game. It's an acquired taste. It's one of those games that's more infamous for its name and its story rather than the actual gameplay. Yeah, there you go, Night Trap. That's, of course, a Sega CD classic and everything, so it's good to have the remaster on PS4, especially physically, so awesome. But yeah, guys, that was it. There's really nothing else to it. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you to Kelsey for letting me film in there, and I'll see you all later.